You might think that I have cooked another regular imeruli khachapuri, but it's not like this. Every type of khachapuri in Georgia has different filling and different dough, although the main components are two, the dough and the cheese. But this time with cheese I'm putting some potatoes. This type of khachapuri is coming to Georgia from Ossetia and it is called KHABIZGINA. Believe me, it's very delicious and with a super light dough. So let's get started. For 2 KHABIZGINAs we need 1 cup of milk, 2 cups of flour, some flour for mixing, dry yeast, salt and vegetable oil, around 800 grams of potatoes, just a little less than a kilo, around 400 grams of cheese, and some butter. In a cup of warm milk, I put 1 teaspoon of dry yeast and I mix it quite well until it is diluted. I put 2/3 of teaspoon of salt into the flour. I mix milk and the flour together, first with the spoon and then with hands. When mixing with hands, instead of flour, put some vegetable oil on your hands. Do it several times. This way you will incorporate more oil into the dough, and this is very important for the elasticity of the dough. After some times of mixing with the hands, I take a separate bowl and put some vegetable oil on it, and then I put the dough into a separate bowl. I covered the dough with oil too. This way the dough is not going to stick the bowl when it is raised. Cover your bowl and let the dough sit from 1.5 to 2 hours depending on your room temperature. Meantime, we can boil our potatoes. I usually boil potatoes with the skin because it preserves its minerals better and it is much more tastier this way. Check if the potatoes are boiled with the fork. I remove the skin and smash it with the fork. If you have special equipment for smashing potatoes, please go ahead and use it. Put 30 grams of butter into your potatoes and smash it with the butter. In the end, I like to mix the potatoes with the hands, and this makes me feel the clumps inside if there are any and remove them because it's not so tasty with the clumps. Mix your cheese together with potato. In this case, we are taking 3/4 of feta and only 1/4 of mozzarella. This is because in this kind of khachapuri, we usually use strong flavored cheese in Georgia. Cheese should be shredded very finely and you should mix them with potatoes very well. They should be like one substance in the end. Well, my hands are my best mixing equipment. The dough is grown, you should mix it once again with your hands for some time more and always use vegetable oil during the mixing process. Split the dough into 2 and also split the filling into 2 parts. And this is the ratio of the filling to the dough, and if you have seen my video about imeruli khachapuri, you will notice that this time the filling is much bigger than the dough. Before starting working, you should let these balls of dough rest for another 15 minutes, of course by covering them. I personally always prefer to assemble my khachapuri directly on a parchment paper. So I take a dough, I stretch it very gently with my hands to the size of a plate, let's say, and then I put the ball of filling, squeeze it a little bit, and I start taking the dough from the edges and assembling them into the center together. And then gently I spread the filling from the center to the edges. First I do it with my hands and then with the help of the roller. Khабიზգիნა is traditionally baked much larger size than imeruli khachapuri. Give it a nice shape with your hands, make sure it is very round and poke the hole into the middle and put on a tray directly with the parchment paper. And then I simply cut out the extra edges of the parchment paper. You should make khабიზգի나 on 250 degrees for around 15 minutes and put your tray always on the lowest level of your oven. When it is still hot, put some butter on the top and it's going to melt with the temperature. So let me take it from the tray. Actually, khachapuri is very easy to manage after 5-10 minutes when it is baked, but I cannot wait. You should eat it hot or warm. Actually, when it is cold, it is still very, very tasty. The dough is very light and it is very important because you don't get too many carbs together with potatoes. Khachapuri itself is very light and very, very tasty. And I was very happy to cook for you. And I will see you next week with another recipe. Enjoy your life. Bye bye.